this is Elle, and this is my shamefully big August-September book haul. So yeah, I bought a lot of books, like way more than I had planned, but in my defense, almost half of these books were super cheap, like really, like say $2 an average, $1 or $2. So I mean, technically I haven't spent more money than I usually do. It just became a lot more books, which is nice, but I mean, it's still like this horrendous pile of stuff. Most probably this is gonna be the last book haul that you'll get in a while, because I will most likely be moving out during the coming months sometime. So I'm gonna try to save some money. So I have a set amount that I'm allowed to spend on books each month, and when I've accumulated like enough books to actually make a decent book haul, then I will do so, but we'll see how long it takes. Depends on how cheap books I find. The first book that I bought was The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Sorry, I've never studied French, but I just want to try pronouncing French anyway, and it probably sounds horrible, and I'm so sorry. Yeah. So this book, I'm not exactly sure what it's about. I think it's like about an astronaut that finds a planet where there's this tiny boy, the little prince, and yeah, I think it's about like humanity as a whole. I'm not sure what the exact story is, but I think it's a little bit philosophical and stuff. And people seem to like it, so I'm looking forward to reading it. It's super short. Then I went to a secondhand store in the city, and I found The Sahir by Paulo Coelho for like $1, and I own 5 of Paulo Coelho's books, and I generally like them. Like, they aren't my favorites, but yeah, sure, I like his books. So when I found it, I was just like, yeah, sure, why not? This book is about an author who loses his wife, or like she disappears, and he doesn't know if she was kidnapped or if she went away by herself, or yeah, he doesn't know, and he becomes obsessed with finding her. And that's what it's about. And yeah, it's quite a big book, but or big book. It's not a big book, but I mean, Paulo Coelho's books are quite short in general, so this is one of his bigger ones. And I'm looking forward to reading it. I haven't read Paulo Coelho in a while. I think I read his books 2 years ago, maybe. I haven't read any of them since, so it will be fun. The other book that I found at the second-hand shop was The 5 Persons You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. And this is about a man who dies and he comes to heaven. And in this book, heaven is not like the end station, it's just kind of a little stop in the way and stuff. And you meet 5 people who like tell you why your life became like it became. And yeah, I've heard people talk about this and liking it, so I was just like, yeah, it's $1, you know, I mean, why not? And then a friend of mine was nice enough to give me a book, and that was The Sum by David Eagleman. I've already read this, but it was like 5 years ago or something, so I'm thrilled to read it again. This is a collection of short stories, 40 short stories, and yeah, as you can see, this is a super tiny book, so these stories are like 2 pages long or something, and they are just like different imaginations about what happens after death. So like one of them is basically like you sit at a train station until your name has been mentioned for the last time, and then you move on. And another of the stories is like you become one of the background people in Dreams of the Living, and stuff like that. I really do recommend this book. I think it would be perfect for like readathons and stuff, because yeah, I mean, you read it really fast and it's super short, so yeah, it's really good. I recommend it. And then for once, I actually bought a hardback, because I don't think it exists in paperback. I couldn't find it. And that is The Kingdom of Little Wounds by Susan Coco. And yeah, like, it's big and stuff, but there was this online bookstore in Sweden that had like a deal, so I was just like, yeah, you know, whatever, let's buy it. And it has got red pages, or like red side thingies, and it's pretty and stuff. And look at the spine of the like actual book. This is a pretty spine, and I'm happy about it. But yeah, I didn't only buy this book for the looks of it, I promise. Generally it has this little tagline, which says, "It is while I stitch together the Queen's gown, on the night her eldest daughter is to die, that I first sense an uneasy power." And I think it's sort of a historical fantasy thing. It's set in a town in Scandinavia, and basically the royal family has an illness, and it's something about a courtier that wants to take the throne. And the main characters are the seamstress, Ava, and a mute nursemaid called Meady, I think. And I just think it sounds interesting, and I'm really excited to read it actually. I will probably get to it soon. Tamora Pierce! Yeah, if you've seen any of my videos like the last 2 months, you may have noticed that I read The Song of the Lioness Quartet by Tamora Pierce, and I loved it to pieces. So I decided to buy some more books. These take place in the same universe, but they're in different time periods and are set around different characters and stuff. So I bought The Trickster's Duet, which is about the lioness, Alana's daughter, Ali. And basically, I think that this is about, Ali wants to become a spy, and her parents won't let her. So she runs away from home, and she gets captured and sold into slavery and stuff. So, it sounds a bit different from the other books, to say the least. But I am excited. These are quite thick books. I mean, the other Tamora Pierce books that I've read are like 200 pages maybe, so yeah. But still, these are only 2 books in a series, and the other series that I have read, like most of her series, seem to have 4 books, so I guess it becomes sort of the same amount of pages anyway. So the first book in that series is Trickster's Choice, and the next one is Trickster's Queen. Then I bought The Protector of the Small Quartet, and this takes place, I think, 13 years after the end of the Song of the Lioness Quartet, and since then there has been a decree that females are allowed to train to become knights. And this is about Kelladry, which is the first girl to, take up on this and actually go to train to become a knight, like legally and stuff. The first book is First Test, the second is Page, which I am currently reading, the third one is Squire, and the fourth is Lady Knight. Then we go on to the last of the physical books that I bought, and that is the Lord of the Rings series by J.R.R. Tolkien. I have tried reading these in Swedish, but I couldn't get through the first book. But the thing is that I know that I tend to read stuff quicker and things when I read it in English. So I decided to try it out. And as you can see, these are 7 books in a little box set. That's because they decided to split up each book in the trilogy into 2 parts. And then this 7th book is just like the appendages to the story that Tolkien put into the books and stuff. And yeah, I want to read this as well. I want to read all of these books, but it's gonna take some time. But yeah, well, as I said, I'm going to live on a budget, so it may be just as well I'll get to read all these books without accumulating so many more. Then I have bought quite a few books on my Kindle, because basically, as I said, I was thinking I'm gonna live on a budget, so maybe I should just look up all the books that I want and how much they cost on Kindle, because I have this wish list on the Book Depository, so I decided let's make a price comparison. And some of the books were super cheap. We're talking either totally for free or for $1.99 or something. So I ended up buying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those, and these cost me in total $4. I mean, these are crazy prices. And yeah, Kindle is nice. The first book that I bought on my Kindle was Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, the first book in the Throne of Glass series. And you probably have heard about this series because everyone reads it. And they had this offer where they sold the first book for yeah, I think it was supposed to be $1, but for some reason for me it was like $1.50 or something. I don't know. It's probably because I don't live in America, because that makes me also like enable to participate and to like get the daily deals and stuff, which, you know, sucks, but yeah, the things you have to deal with when you're Swedish. The second book that I bought was If You Could Be Mine by Sarah Fierson, and I have been excited about this book for so long, and I ended up hyping it way too much, so I was disappointed when I actually read the book. Yeah, the stuff that can happen. The thing is, I haven't even heard anyone talk about this book. I originally found it because there was like this Tumblr post where it's just like, hey, here's some YA with like lesbian main characters, and I thought it sounded super interesting. This is about 2 lesbian girls in Iran, and the thing is, basically one of these girls, she gets betrothed to a man, and the other girl is like, yeah, so I really love this girl, and if I decide to come out as trans and get like an operation, then I could probably be able to marry her and we could live together. So the thing is, I thought it was gonna be a lot more about the like philosophical choice of like choosing to live with a person you love or choosing to be in the body that you want, that you belong in. But it was not that much about that. Like, I mean, it wasn't bad exactly, but it was just not what I expected. And it made me sad because I was so hyped up about it. And the third book that I bought for Kindle was Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And I have already read this as well. It's a YA paranormal romance with aliens and stuff. And the thing is, I really like the main character, and I really like the way it was written. But the thing is, the main love interest, he annoys me so much. Like, this thing with boys acting like hot and cold, I don't get the appeal. I just, no. I most probably won't continue with this series, I'm not sure, but like, if he's gonna keep acting this way, then I don't want to read any more of it. So, like, yeah, if you read this series, could you please just, like, tell me if he becomes, like, more even in his behavior? Because, oh, it annoys me so much. The first book that I bought was Eve by Anna Carey. And, yeah, I'm not really sure what this is about. This is also YA, like, dystopian, I think. I think that it's about this girl called Eve who lives in like an institute or something, and then she finds out that it's something mysterious going on with this institute, and she runs away. I'm not sure. I think that's sort of what it's about. It's kind of vague, but I mean, yeah. And this is a book series that I do want to read, but it's gotten quite low ratings, so I was just like, yeah, I'm not sure if I want to buy the physical books or not, because I mean, they still cost money. But this was, I think it was for free, or it was like $1 or something, so I ended up buying it. I have not read it yet, but I probably will soon. And the very last book that I have to show you is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. This was also like a little deal. It was like one day where they sold this little ebook for like $1.24, something like that. It was way cheap anyway. And I want to read Brandon Sanderson. I do. I haven't gotten into the Mistborn series yet. I started reading the first book, The Final Empire, and I really did like it. The problem was just that I was not in the mood for long books at the time. I wanted like small ones with like 200 or 300 pages. So I ended up putting it away because I felt like these books I want to enjoy to the utmost, and I want to be able to read them like super fast and stuff, and I couldn't do that at the moment, so I decided to put it down. But now I have The Way of Kings as well, which is book 1 of the Stormlight Archive. I think there are 2 books out. Yeah, it's this and Words of Radiance, and there's going to be 10 books in total, so that's something to look forward to. Yeah, those were all the books that I bought in August and September, and as I said, there probably won't be another book haul for quite some time, but, you know, yeah, I'm gonna try and post some more reviews, I think. I'm not a very good reviewer, but I want to become better, so that's gonna be fun. Also, Blood of Olympus is coming out soon. I'm so excited, and people are going to die, and I'm scared. I think Leo is going to die, and I don't want him to die, but I feel like he's the only one who makes sense that he would die. Like, it's Leo or it's Reina. That's what I think. And I don't want Leo to die. I don't want anyone to die. You can probably expect a Blood of Olympus rant after I read the book. It comes out on the 7th of October, I think, and I will be getting it on my Kindle so I can read it the moment it comes out, and it's gonna be scary, and and then it's gonna be over. There's gonna be no more Percy Jackson. That's sad. I'm sad. Yeah, well, anyway, I'll see you later, okay?